those of you who love the red paint, it's your turn. Oh no, we didn't leave you out. Coming up are some tractors near and dear to our hearts, as we'll take you to Red Power on parade. This is some footage we shot at the Threshermen's Reunion in Pontiac, Illinois, with people to restore the tractors, people who love the tractors, people who like to show them off, including yours truly.
There's a new liberty at work in the heartland. The Liberty Link system from Agrivo, with genetic intelligence that makes Liberty Link corn resistant to broad-spectrum Liberty herbicide. It lets you control more than 100 broadleaf weeds and grasses fast and with no crop injury, so your corn gets a strong head start for optimum yields. For optimum yields, it's the Liberty Link system.
You know how inquisitive kids are. That's why you store sharp objects in a safe place. Keep medicines out of reach. And if you have a gun, you keep it unloaded and locked away. As concerned members of the television community, we urge you to be just as careful with television. Kids don't always know what they're watching. That's why you should.
This tractor I bought brand new in 1957. We had a belly mower on it, and when my barn burnt down, I got in the flames and pushed the tractor out, but I couldn't get the mower out. So I still got the tractor. It's been painted twice, overhauled twice, and still runs like a new one.
Well, this tractor actually belongs to my son. We are in it together. It's a 1951C. He's the second owner. His neighbor owned it first, and it has never been on a plow. It has always been done light work. It's set for about 6 years, never done nothing.
I've owned it for about 5 years, and I've repainted it and put new wheels and tires and stuff on it.
Okay, do you use it still on the farm today, or do you basically take it to shows?
I just take it to shows.
And how many do you take it to a year?
Oh, I probably take it to 4 or 5 a year.
Do you have any other tractors in the show, or just this one?
I got a 1947 Cub in the show too.
What made you get so interested in antique tractors?
Yeah, my wife grew up on the farm. I grew up in the city.
Why do I come to a show like this? Oh, I just like the red. Yeah.
When you look at these vintage Farmall tractors, you see some that are dressed flawlessly. The restoration has been impeccable. It's about as pure and perfect as you can get. And one veteran of the Farmall tractor plant who attended this year's Pontiac Threshing Show was overheard to say, "You know, they didn't look that good when they came off the assembly line." And some people argue against this thorough restoration of these old workhorses. Unnatural, they might say. Why, the tractor was never meant to be that pretty, that fancy. The oil leaks should be visible. The dents should be untouched. The features that each farmer added either by intent or by mistake should remain. Well, you know, there probably is room in this hobby, we suspect, for both kinds of collectors. It is their varied restorations, or lack of them, that create the spirited discussions that keep the fire burning in those of us who will always remember our days with these wonderful machines. It's their common love for that smell of paint, that odor of hot oil, that feel of the steering wheel, that vibration of the tractor seat. No matter how splendid or how raw the appearance may be, it brings these tractor lovers together and keeps them coming back for more, traveling sometimes hundreds of miles. What's the attraction of antique tractors? How would you summarize it? Why do people get into this hobby and get so crazy about it, Al?
I kind of think it's what they drove when they were younger, Max, and what they were basically brought up in the way of tractors. I basically myself came off of a vegetable operation, and I've been around the smaller tractors. I don't have no real big ones, but I've got the smaller ones like this one, and the Super A's and the A's and the 140s and all the international tractors that are on the smaller line that were worked in the vegetable farms around the Chicago area. And about 30 years I've been monkeying with these smaller tractors.
And Al Knopf's talked with us about the tractor of which he is most proud, an unusual white Farmall.
This is a demonstrator tractor that came off the McCormick farm in Elgin, or near Elgin, I should say. And when I got this tractor, I didn't know It was a white one. It was red when I got it. I had to go back to the man I got it from that sold it to me to find out the story on the tractor. And the story on the tractor, it came off the McCormick farm, was donated to a church, and I got it from them.
We'll see you with it all night at tractor pull, won't we? Or you coming? You gonna be here? Here we got the 38. All right. Hey, that's a nice tractor, buddy. Thanks for bringing it. Sure appreciate it. Well, you need to get up closer. Let's put
Wayne, let's talk about this show to begin with. What's the attraction of the Central States Threshermen's Reunion?
I think the biggest attraction here is all these red tractors. We've got pretty close to 300 pieces of equipment with IH written on it. Memorabilia and stuff puts us over 300. So we've got a pretty good show here. Worked pretty hard to get it done.
I'm always amazed you find people who not only collect the tractors, but as is the case with yourself, you have a combine. There are people who collect refrigerators and other pieces of equipment.
We've got one guy with a full display of refrigerators and coolers and everything, international made. The combine back here is mine, and it goes to the field every year and does my oat crop for me. So it's not just something that we collect, we also use it.
I remember this particular model, the Model 91, the one with no steering wheel.
No, there isn't one. It takes a little while to get used to it, but once you are, you can just about do anything with it. And some of the guys that have had them for a while, they can kind of square dance with them, and they do all kinds of things. Mine goes to the field of work, so I don't have a chance to square dance a lot.
When was this combine made?
About 1962.
What else do you find at a show like this?
Oh, older tractors that somebody has found by accident. Newer tractors with numbers on them that are quite rare, and basically any kind of tractor like that.
You might talk a little bit about why people get involved in this hobby. I guess you come with all different backgrounds, but what is the rationale?
Well, it's something to do. You meet people that want to kind of cling together, and you separate the colors, and I personally feel what color it is doesn't count. It's a piece of iron that somebody's felt sorry for, and honestly today they are probably in better shape than they were when they were made and came off the assembly line.
Many times there's a sentimental attachment too.
Oh yeah, as in yourself with the Super H. There's a lot of them here that, oh, Dad had it, or Uncle John had it, or somebody else did, or the wife's father-in-law had it, or whatever, and it comes handed down, and then they finally decide that let's put it together and make it look right, and oh, we better go to a show, and now we're in the show business, and we have a good time doing what we do.
Some people call these tractors antiques. I guess I've called them that myself. But an antique really is something often that sits up on the shelf, something that is never touched or rarely used. It is admired from afar. Its useful days are bygone days. Its practical application has passed. And that really cannot be said for these magnificently designed, superbly manufactured workhorses, the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yes, they remain workhorses. They continue to pull the load. That's the striking thing you notice traveling America, visiting her farms and her farmers as I have for the past 20 years. They're still out there. They're still out there being used after all these years. Now, you'll see few of them doing heavy tillage, and not many are still cultivating. But I cannot begin to tell you how many I have seen in the past year alone attached to an auger, powering a feed grinder, hooked up to a mower, or pulling a wagon. They remain, now a half-century later, useful and vital players in America's powerful agriculture industry. And who are these people who collect the old antique tractors? Well, they are, I have found, about as mixed a melting pot as you can imagine, almost as varied as this country itself. I have met or have talked to tractor fans who are Baptist, Jewish, Roman Catholic, Lutheran. I would describe them as skinny, Rather ample, handsome, some maybe a little bit scary if you met them at a dark alley instead of at one of these wonderful tractor shows. They perform quite a variety of tasks in order to make a living, these tractor people. The folks I've met at tractor shows who collect tractors work in places like a truck cab, an ice cream plant, an investment banking firm, a hospital operating room, a radio station. And yes, I have met many who still farm. And even those who do not collect, those who do remember and admire, are a varied lot. Sometimes they are those you'd expect the least. There was the carload of teenage suburban boys who pulled their car over and gave me the thumbs up in awe when I passed. It was not the signal I expected from them. There was the man who came sprinting down his driveway and offered me a beer. He had never met me or seen me before until I came around the corner. There was the realtor who shed a tear with me. She explained the tragedy that had befallen her father and the wonderful memories that lingered of her father and that red tractor that he had used.
Oh, I think it's been a great show, Max. We've had a tremendous turnout of tractors. They've had tremendous weather, just beautiful weather here, and everything has just really been nice. Of course, I'm very proud of the turnout of red tractors we've got, but they also have a beautiful display of the rest of the tractors. The green tractors and the orange tractors and the yellow tractors and the other color green tractors. And it's just really been a nice show. I was out to the parking lot earlier. The parking lot was full.
You're standing by 3 of your tractors, and you've done the restoration or the larger part of the restoration on these tractors yourself. That's not easy.
Oh, I don't know. It's just unbolt it and fix it and put it back together, and then paint it when you get done.
Do you have trouble finding parts for some of these older tractors?
Some of them are hard to find, but basically you can buy some parts from International from the International dealer. Some parts are available through our used parts vendors, and there are some reproduction parts made. Decals are being remanufactured just like the ones, they look just like the original ones. And there are some reproduction parts out there.
How do people get involved in a hobby like this? I mean, why do they get involved? What is the rationale, the motivation for it?
I wish I knew the rationale. Of course, I grew up with the red tractors, and 20 years ago, I bought a little F12, and I had a Farmall H that the neighbors across the road had bought new, and it's on steel wheels yet. And maybe it's like a disease. I don't know. After you get one, you want another one, and then you want another one after that. And I kind of like to have unusual ones, but the guy who's got the one that his father bought new is just as proud of it as I am any of these. And I do have the Super H that my grandfather bought new too, Max.
Tends to be habit forming, I gather, though, by watching your performance here. People who get involved in this hobby are pretty nice folks, though. I gather many of them have agriculture roots or still are actively involved in agriculture.
A lot of them are actively involved in agriculture, and a lot of them have agriculture roots. And every once in a while you come across a fella who lives in town and says, boy, I sure do like tractors, and I'd like to have one. And, well, I know a guy who's got one in his garage.
It's fun watching the reaction of people, too, isn't it, when you bring a tractor down the street or take it down the road?
Now, I don't have some of my tractors aren't like everybody said, well, my granddad had one of these, because some of mine are a little odd. But I have a few of them that people really look at and say, boy, I never saw one of those before.
I've got 2 tractors here. One's a 1937 International Harvester W30. The other one is a 1933 F12 with a factory-wide front end. And the F12 is the first year the International Harvester made the F12 with their own engine in it. And it's kind of an experimental version of it. It's a lot lighter, and the engine's designed differently than what they used in the previous years with it. And then they improved it, for better use later on also. And the W30, it's 1937. They didn't make too many W30s. They made them kind of at the end of the F20 and F30 lines, and then they went to the H's and M's later.
Are you the original owner of these tractors?
No, I've got one at home. It's my grandfather bought new, that I don't have here was original, but these are ones I purchased from neighbors and restored.
You ought to see my D17 fourth-grade exhaust pipes. I've been coming here for many, many years and exhibiting, and this year I brought my, what I call my piggyback tractor, and I used it many years when I was raising my family, helped me raise my family, and I hadn't used it for many years, and a couple of years ago I had a heart attack, and when I was recovering, I said I was going to put it back together for the fun. That's what I did.
Yeah, we haven't got a whole lot of money in it, but it's something nobody else has got so far, but I'm sure they will have before long.
And we built this thing out of an Oliver HG and a H International. International never built one, so boy and I, we decided we'd make one to suit ourselves. So that's how it came in. I've got all the other H's and stuff, and we decided that we'd just see if we could do it, and it works real nice.
Well, we've owned the Farmall A for about 3 years now, and we've completely restored them. The engine, the transmission, paint, everything. We've completely restored it. The W4 was all, mechanic work was all done prior to us getting it, and we've completely repainted it and restored it.
Great, and do you still use them on the farm today, or do you basically just take them to shows?
We basically take them to shows and have fun with them. The grandkids get on them and play on them, and they're for our enjoyment.
Great, how many shows a year do you go to?
We make about 2 or 3 a month around the country, from the east, Pennsylvania to Ohio to Illinois, Iowa, Indiana.
Do you have a favorite show?
No, I don't think we do. We just like them all. We love the tractors.
And I understand that your wife is an owner of one of them, is that correct?
Yes. When I say that the Farmall A is my tractor, my wife kind of scolds me and tells me that that is her tractor, and that was the purpose that we originally bought it for her. She enjoys it.
And why is it that you enjoy tractors so much?
Well, it's something both my husband and I can enjoy together. It's a hobby that we both enjoy.
Well, it's old. It's a 1917, and it took an awful lot of work to get it where it's at, like it is now, like probably 3 years spare time. And it actually belongs to my brother. He bought it, and I have to keep it running and rebuild it for him. And John's not here at the present time, but not right here. He's around here someplace. But it's kind of between the two of us. And we did a lot of work, repairs, and just go through the whole thing and work it over.
So you restored it yourself?
Yes. Yeah, we did our own restoration. We do all of ours.
Do you own more than one tractor?
About 60 restored tractors, and well, probably 12 or 15 more to be restored if I live that long.
Well, coming up, we talked to the gentleman who restored my old Farmall Super H as our look at the Red Power continues.